Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered, how did we get here? Not just you or me, but all of us humanity. It's a story billions of years in the making, a saga of survival, innovation, and connection. Today, we're embarking on an epic journey to explore the very dawn of our species, to understand the lives of our earliest ancestors, the traditional people who laid the foundation for everything we know. This isn't just a history lesson, it's the story of us. So, grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's travel back in time. Our story begins not in a city or a town, but on the vast, open savannas of Africa. Millions of years ago, long before skyscrapers and smartphones, our distant relatives, the early hominins, took their first upright steps. This was a game changer. Walking on two legs, a practice known as bipedalism, freed up their hands. Imagine the possibilities. Suddenly, they could carry food, tools, and even their young over long distances. This simple shift in posture was the first domino to fall, setting in motion a cascade of evolutionary changes that would ultimately lead to us. These early humans weren't just wandering aimlessly. They were intelligent, resourceful, and deeply connected to their environment. They learned to observe the world around them, to read the seasons, track animal migrations, and identify edible plants. Their survival depended on this intimate knowledge. They developed the first tools, simple chip stones, but don't let their simplicity fool you. These were the multi-tools of the Paleolithic era, used for everything from butchering a kill to cracking nuts. The creation of a tool, no matter how basic, is a profound act. It shows forethought, planning, and the ability to imagine a future need. It's the first spark of human ingenuity. Life was a collective effort. These early humans lived in small, mobile groups, often made up of extended family. They were hunter-gatherers, a lifestyle that required immense cooperation. Hunting large game was a team sport, demanding strategy, communication, and trust. Gathering plants, roots, and berries was a shared responsibility, with knowledge passed down from one generation to the next. This social fabric was our greatest survival tool. In a world full of predators and uncertainty, belonging to a group meant safety, support, and a better chance for everyone. They looked out for each other, shared their resources, and built the first human communities. And within these groups, something magical was happening. The need to coordinate, to share knowledge, and to bond socially drove the development of our most powerful asset, language. We don't know exactly what these first languages sounded like, but we can imagine the grunts, gestures, and calls that slowly evolved into complex systems of communication. Language allowed them to plan hunts in detail, to warn others of danger, and to teach their children, but it did more than that. It allowed them to share stories, to express emotions, and to build a shared culture. Around the flickering light of a campfire, they didn't just share food, they shared ideas. The control of fire was another revolutionary leap forward. It provided warmth on cold nights, protection from predators, and a new way to prepare food. Cooking not only made food safer and easier to digest, but it also unlocked more nutrients, providing the extra energy needed to fuel a growing, complex brain. The campfire became the heart of the community, a place for social gathering, storytelling, and strengthening bonds. It was the original social network, where the day's experiences were recounted and the group's identity was forged. As their brains grew, so did their capacity for abstract thought. We see this explosion of creativity in the stunning cave paintings and carved figures they left behind. In places like Lascaux in France and Altamira in Spain, they painted vivid images of the animals that were central to their lives: bison, horses, and mammoths. These weren't just decorations, they were expressions of a complex inner world, attempts to understand their place in the cosmos, and perhaps a way to perform rituals to ensure a successful hunt. This art is a silent testament to their minds, showing us that they wondered, they dreamed, and they sought to make sense of the world, just as we do today. These traditional societies were not primitive or simple. They possessed a deep, holistic understanding of their ecosystems that we are only now beginning to appreciate. They lived in a delicate balance with nature, taking only what they needed and understanding the intricate web of life they were a part of. Their knowledge of medicinal plants, animal behavior, and a sustainable way of life was vast and sophisticated. They were the original scientists, astronomers, and ecologists. From their African homeland, these small bands of humans began to spread out, a great migration that would eventually lead them to every corner of the globe. Driven by curiosity, climate change, and the search for new resources, they adapted to every environment imaginable. They crossed deserts, navigated coastlines, traversed frozen ice sheets, and settled entire continents. Each new landscape presented new challenges, and each time, they innovated, creating new tools, new strategies, and new ways of life. This incredible adaptability is the hallmark of our species. The journey of these traditional people is the foundation of all human history. They were the pioneers who faced a wild and unpredictable world with courage, intelligence, and cooperation. They developed tools, language, art, and the complex social structures that define us. Every time we work together to solve a problem, every time we tell a story to our children, every time we gather with friends and family, we are echoing the legacy of our hunter-gatherer ancestors. Their story isn't a relic of a distant past. It's a living part of who we are. It reminds us of our deep connection to each other and to the natural world. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey back to the dawn of humanity. I hope it's given you a new appreciation for the long and winding path that led to us. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more explorations into our shared past. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What part of our early history fascinates you the most? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.